This video, presented by Desire Fuentes May, M.A., B.C.B.A., L.B.A., will cover verbal behavior. The objectives for this video include understanding the background on verbal behavior, identifying different types of verbal operants, discussing why verbal operants are used, and reviewing references. Skinner, in 1957, defined language as a learned behavior. It is acquired, extended, and maintained by the same environmental variables and principles that control non-language behavior, such as stimulus control, motivating operations, reinforcement, and extinction. Verbal behavior is reinforced through the actions of another person. It involves a social interaction between speakers and listeners. Skinner, 1957, identified 6 types of elementary verbal operants, including echoic, mand, tax, and intraverbals. Echoic behavior is imitation in language learning. It's controlled by verbal stimuli with point-to-point correspondence, like repeating quote car when prompted. The goal is for the speaker to repeat words and phrases, which then transfers to other verbal operants. An example of echoic behavior is when a teacher says buenos dias in Spanish, and the students repeat buenos dias. A mand is when the speaker asks for, states, demands, or implies what they need or want. This is controlled by motivating operations and specific reinforcement, and it's typically the first verbal operant acquired by a child. The mand is the only type of verbal behavior that directly benefits the speaker by providing access to items like toys, edibles, attention, or the removal of an aversive stimulus. For example, a child says cookie and receives a cookie. Tags are a verbal operant where the speaker identifies objects and actions they perceive directly through their senses. Tag training involves teaching action tags by having a nonverbal stimulus of movement present, with a response like jump controlled by the jumping action. Tags are reinforced with generalized reinforcers. Unlike a mand, where a child gets what they ask for, a tact involves the listener responding with verbal praise, for example, "That's right, that's a cookie," when the child labels an item. An intraverbal is a verbal operant, where a speaker responds to another's verbal behavior differently, without point-to-point correspondence. Examples include completing song lyrics like "Old MacDonald had a farm," "E-I, E-I," and pausing for O. Intraverbals describe conversational or social language, allowing children to discuss absent topics, such as completing the sentence, "I'm baking," with cookies. They also encompass responses to WH questions and are strengthened by social reinforcement. Verbal behavior, VB, uses Skinner's analysis as a basis for teaching language and shaping behavior. Skinner theorized that all language could be grouped into operants, each serving a different function. VB is designed to motivate a child to learn language by developing a connection between a word and its value. It can extend the communication section of an ABA program. The most important operants are echoics, mands, tags, and intraverbals. Here are the references used in this video. Thank you for watching this video.